I'll touch on myself before I go on to the generation. For me, it was no. I joined this sport. I just went accidentally. No, I went to the gym one time with my mate. He said, "Let's go to an MMA gym." I was boxing at the time, amateur boxing, and I was never a great boxer. I wanted to be because my granddad was a professional boxer, and I wanted to be, a professional boxer, be a world champion. I watched it, I lived it, I trained, very very hard from a young age. I was in the gym all the time, but it just wasn't clicking the same. And my teammates around me are winning titles and stuff, and no, I was just like, I don't know what drove me to it. My mate just said, "Do you want to go to an MMA gym?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So we went, tried it out, and no, loved it. Went for like 4 weeks in a row. It was only on once a week for beginners, and then I left because I had loads of like boxing tournaments and fights coming up. And then I had a fallout with one of the boxing coaches one time, and I went back to MMA, and I was 16, and ever since then it was that's what I've been doing. And no, when I started fighting and competing, I just loved the drive. I loved, like, I do love the attention as well. Everyone in the town, my town, I'm from a small town. They were getting behind me, they were supporting me. I was walking out in front of crowds, and and then I'm looking at the UFC. It was never like the money didn't drive me back then. You know what I mean? I was like, I just loved. I just wanted to be the main man. I wanted to be known for being, at the time I was the apprentice. It was Alan the Apprentice Philpott. And then as I got older, and then went into the pro ranks and started fighting for a little bit of money and realizing there is money to be made. And then, I was just like, that sort of overtook everything. Whenever I was fighting the guy Tom Duquesnoy for the BAMA world title, BAMA was one of the top shows in Europe. Tom Duquesnoy was #1 in Europe. He was beating everyone. After I was told that the date I got it, I was like, I still had stitches in my side. I had an operation, and I was told if I don't take this fight, that somebody else will, and he's probably going to get signed by the UFC after that. And I've been asking for this fight while loads of people's been turning it down. I was asking for this because I was the British champion, and he was the world champion at our weight, bantamweight. And I remember like the paycheck I got for that fight, bro. It was like ridiculous. It was so bad. And then I was just like, what is this? Like, because I was doing it full time then, and I was expecting a bit of a pay. And I heard it was half Bama, half Bellator, and I heard what some of the Bellator fighters were getting with like even less experience. Now, I'm main event fighting for the world title live on TV, sold hundreds of tickets. Don't get me wrong, I got a ticket deal, but and then I'm leaving that fight basically owing every penny out and probably more. And there's fighters just because they're fighting on the Bellator name, but like maybe they're like 3-3 or whatever. No, it just was like, what is that? How is this way? And then it just sort of got to me. And to be honest, bro, it drove me away. It took the love for it. I just was like, I can't do it this way anymore. And then I got offered a bigger fight on the Australia scene on ACB. ACB at the time were the third biggest show in the world, and they looked after us so well, bro. Paid good money, and it's sort of like, even though I got beat, I was in Australia, and it was good. The experience, it was better. I felt more respected and valuable as a fighter. Like I'm losing, making more than what I would have won, even if I'd have won that world title fight. This was way more, and then it sort of gave me a little bit of life back. And then again, just up and down through the years, but the money, once I stopped thinking about the money, I started enjoying the sport again for what it was, and I started realizing, like, if I'm in this sport for fighting and to get better, to get the titles, to get to the top, like the money will come with it. Like the money will come with it, and it's up to me when I do get to that platform where it's a chance to make money. I need to sell myself, and yes, it's maybe shouldn't be the way it is, but the fact is that is the way it is. I think the younger generation, they don't realize that. I don't even think it's the money. I think it's more the fame and the highlights. Like like they see what these fighters are going, and they think maybe once you get a few wins, get the UFC, you're going to be a big star, and that's not the case. You have to work hard behind the scenes, like podcasts, pictures, videos, meet and greets, and like that's a lot. It takes a lot of energy. I'm 49 fights deep between amateur and pro. I beat some of the best in Europe. I've been very close to beating some and got caught, whatever. But I've helped many UFC fighters, and while I'm in training, I'm not anywhere like that far behind. You know what I mean? And I'm still here, you know, working all day, doing PTs, teaching classes, and trying to get fights where I can.
And I'll just stop you there. I mean, look, I guess it is always a case that you should never do it for the money, right? Like, because if you're doing it for the money, you're probably in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
I guess the hard thing is, though, is that you, especially as I say, on the local scene, is, I would say 10 out of 10. I won't even say 9 out of 10. Most fighters are still having to have a full-time job to support them fighting, right?
Sure.
And then when you think about like all the wear and tear and as you say, and then all the obligations as well, you know, if you're trying to make a name for yourself, it's like, you know, you do your full-time job and then you got to train, you got to do all these obligations, there's injuries, there's you know, whatever else that comes with it. And then you kind of think, I'm not saying that you should be attracted to it for the money, but like it gets to a point where you're like, well, if this can't even sustain my fighting career, like it like, once again, what's the attraction? You know, like from an outlook, and look, don't get me wrong, like I love the sport, right? But I'm also sitting here in the chair. I'm pretty safe right now. Like the chances of injury and stuff are a lot lower. And I guess that's why, and when you say yes, the fame, but you know, I also find that with the fame, a lot of people mix then fame and fortune in the one. Yeah, exactly, I get the fame, I get the fortune, right? Because they see Conor McGregor in his Lamborghini boat, right? They see him doing the Millie strut. And it's just like, yes, a lot of people go, that's what I want to do. But, you know, he's one of many.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
Too.
Ronda Rousey was one of many. Like, it's like, even at the highest level, you know, you're taking that 1%.
And then, well, bro, it's changed that much too. Like, it's not even about the best fighter anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, the amount of great fighters I've seen turn away and walk away from the sport. And to be honest, it's probably one of the main reasons why I haven't, is because I've seen so many and I found it hard. Like, how did you walk away? You're so close. And then, no, now that I'm getting in the same position later on in life, where it's like, no, I'm a good fighter. I entertain every time. No, I build up a good fight. No, yeah, sometimes I get caught or whatever. Sometimes I'm the one catching. I'm not a clean sweep fighter, but I'll take any challenge that's given to me. Anyone you offer me, no, I'll take it. You know, and like, that's the way it should be. Like, in the day, we're fighters. We're training to fight and be the best that we can. And no, I feel the sport's watered down that much. Like, and this is what the kids don't see either. Like, they're so focused on keeping this zero and, you know, doing all these big hard weight cuts and big 12-week camps when they're young, when that's not the way it should be. Like, no, you do the sport because you want to do it and you want to, you know, have a career in life, maybe as an athlete. That's what you want to do. And yes, there is ways you take it, but there's also like handpicking the fights, and even like for coaches and managers and stuff, that they sort of hold them back from certain opportunities. No, it's not being true to yourself either. Like, the sport was built on the best fighting the best. And that's my view. You know, you should be fighting the best. No, go challenge yourself. And like I say, if you can't win locally and be the best locally, how do you expect to be one of the best in the world? And that's always been my view on it. And that's why I've took any challenges came. Maybe sometimes I wasn't prepared properly, or no, I maybe should have said no. But at the same time, like, for me, it was like a challenge. I wanted to challenge, and, you know, sometimes it paid off and sometimes it didn't.